Du Plooy gives Derbyshire hope with determined ton. Nottinghamshire had certainly enjoyed themselves on the first day of their Bob Willis Trophy encounter with Derbyshire. Chris Nash and Hasib Hamid had attacked from the off, and the tail-enders had got in on the fun as the side racked up 300 runs. Derbyshire had negotiated their way through to the close of play, unscathed with 9 runs on the board. The morning session would be a tricky one for the visitors to negotiate though. Jake Ball would have been rubbing his hands together in anticipation on his way to Trent Bridge with grey skies above, and the Notts-seamer would be the man to make the breakthrough. Rees was scoreless when Ball's beauty outside his off-stump caught the edge after just a few overs of play, and Derbyshire were now 14 for 1. Ball's next wicket would come shortly after. Billy Godalman looked to play a full ball into the covers, but could only nick it through to Moores. A difficult start for Derbyshire got even worse when Ball picked up yet another wicket, this time taking the prize of Wayne Madsen, caught at gully courtesy of another swinging delivery. The visitors needed a partnership to steady the innings, and they found it in Du Plooy and Critchley, who stemmed the flow of wickets. 3 consecutive 4s flowed from Critchley's bat, a feat that Du Plooy repeated just a few overs later. With the hosts unable to build on their momentum, Derbyshire had done well to mount a bit of a fight back. Any assistance given to Notts by the earlier weather evaporated as the sun broke through the clouds. For the first time in the match, it was Derbyshire who looked on top, their 4th wicket partnership dragging them back into contention. An on-drive for 4 from Du Plooy from the final ball of the session took the score to 119 for 3, and Derbyshire were well and truly back in the game. But all of Derbyshire's hard work looked to be undone with the first ball after the resumption. Indecision running between the wickets handed Notts the run-out opportunity, but Critchley was slow to take advantage of an inaccurate throw to get back into his ground, and Mullaney made no mistake with the second attempt. Joey Everson had already made a mark on the match with the bat, and repeated the feat with the ball. He'd trap Hussain LBW for 1 for his maiden first-class wicket, but the 18-year-old wasn't done there. While wickets began to tumble around him, Du Plooy picked up his 50, but Everson would strike. Hudson Prentice would be his next victim, the ball that saw him out LBW, a virtual carbon copy. And a 3rd wicket followed. Hamid plucked a sharp chance out of the air at gully to remove McKiernan without troubling the scorers. Tom Barber will have enjoyed the sight of Cohen's off-stump cartwheeling away for his maiden first-class wicket. The ball kept low to beat the Derbyshire man's defences. Aitchison would show a little resistance with a nicely placed shot for 4 into the covers, but Barber would reply in kind, finding an edge through to Mullaney, leaving Derbyshire staring down the barrel of a follow-on. Try as they might though, Notts could not extricate Du Plooy. He expertly shielded the inexperienced Sam Connors from the strike and ensured the hosts would be forced to bat again. The home side were bogged down and Du Plooy took advantage, bringing up his century to take Derbyshire through to 200 runs. On they batted, Du Plooy now adding 6s to his impressive repertoire. When the South African got under a Samit Patel delivery to sky a catch to Joey Everson, he'd managed to rack up 130 runs and had dragged his side virtually single-handedly from 19 for 2 to 239 all out. Despite those heroics, the visitors still trailed by 85 runs, and early wickets would be key to any hopes of avoiding defeat. And they got their wish with just the second ball of the Notts innings. Chris Nash attempted the pull shot to a ball a little too wide of off, and could only bottom edge onto his own stumps. But where Nash had failed, Ben Duckett and Hamid found their feet, scoring quickly early in the innings. Duckett would be undone by Sam Connors, caught down the leg side, and he'd go for 23. He'd soon have his 3rd wicket of the day. Joe Clark trapped in his crease, and out LBW for 2. Derbyshire could have had another big wicket when Mullaney inside edged 1 past his own stumps and the keeper for 4, with the total ticking past 50 runs. The experienced old campaigner batted on, and alongside the talented Hamid, guided Notts through to the close of play at 84 for 3, leading Derbyshire by 169.